Hello and welcome to my TV show recaps. I will be recapping TV shows on streaming services such as HBO, Netflix, Hulu, and talking about hot topics. If you're interested, please subscribe. Today we're starting off with the final episode of And Just Like That on HBO. So the final episode begins with Che being unfunny, which at this point none of us are surprised by. But Carrie proceeds to mention again that Big is dead. This to me is just her sucking up the air in the room, as she usually does by announcing every chance she gets that Big is dead. At this point, we're all tired of her, and I mean, maybe Big would still be alive if she just decided to call 911 instead of being melodramatic on the bathroom floor. So here we have the next scene where Carrie meets up with the teacher, and they're kind of like on a date. They're talking, chatting with each other, and then he brings up the line, "Hey, I Googled you." Which to me was kind of unnecessary because they had previously met at the school charity function where LTW's husband was participating in an auction for Carrie. During this auction, they kind of had a rundown of her previous careers. So he would have heard that she was a best selling author on the New York Times bestseller list. So to me, this was just another necessary dialogue between the two actors. Anyways, the characters ended up sharing an awkward kiss, which later, when she's talking to Seema, we find out that she kind of really wasn't into. Which is kind of annoying because you could tell from the start she was never really into this teacher, and it begs to question why would she even string along this man for several dates when eventually she knew she was going to break up with him. So the next scene we have Carrie's ominous battle with the lamp, which she thinks it's big sign to her that he's disappointed in her, I guess, dating. So she decides to meet up with Miranda and Charlotte to discuss the lamp situation, which kind of confused me because if you look at the scene, Miranda looks like she just came back from Soul Cycle, and the rest of the ladies kind of have on their Sunday's best. So that was kind of random. So Charlotte proceeds to start talking about her bat mitzvah troubles with Rock, and she talks about her having a they mitzvah for Rock instead of a bat mitzvah. And Carrie looks like she doesn't care, neither do I, so I'm moving on. So the next scene is Carrie texting Samantha, which is kind of confusing to me because the actress who plays Samantha clearly stated she's never coming back to the show. So them kind of teasing the audience with this possible maybe Samantha might be back next season texting scenes is kind of annoying. So the next scene is her going to the lamp shop to get her lamp repaired. The only reason why I have this scene on the screen is because I love her Gucci purse. Spoiler alert, her lamp flickering is not a sign from Big, so we can just move on. So the next scene is Anthony bringing the challah bread in for a tasting, and this scene is just so disgusting to me because Anthony holds the bread directly to his mouth while he's speaking into the bread. I don't know about you guys, but I'd never taste that bread after he did that. So the next scene we have Anthony being the only voice of reason with Rock, just trying to get them to at least try to participate in the religious ceremony that their parents have planned for them. Again, this whole scene isn't kind of why I tune in to And Just Like That. So I just, give it a cool, smooth fast forward. I don't care. Here we have Miranda going to a club to meet up with Che and their grandparents. Che uses this opportunity to sing to Miranda about the fact that they got a job opportunity in California. At first, I thought Che was breaking up with Miranda, but I guess, I can't always have what I want. So it turns out that she was actually requesting for Miranda to accompany them to California, which, Miranda just starts giggling and she's just so excited, and I found annoying. So we get Chase scurrying on down to the podcast, telling the entire team that they have a job opportunity for a pilot in LA. Spoiler alert, it's gonna get canceled. But this is where we also see tension between Carrie and the producer, so we just have to keep an eye for that in the later scenes. We move on to Miranda telling her professor that she's going to complete the semester online. Trust me, when I heard this, I had the exact same look. the professor had on her face. Like, what are you doing? Why are you throwing away a semester, your internship, and just completing your master's over Che, someone who doesn't even want to put a label on your relationship? Why are you making such drastic moves? It just doesn't make sense for a woman of her age to do something like this. So next we have Carrie meeting up with Big's brother. Big's brother asks her, where is Big? Here I was a little bit concerned because I wasn't sure if he was aware his brother died. But he was really just asking where his remains were. And in this case, Carrie had stored his remains in her shoe closet, which to me is kind of unsettling, but it kind of fits Carrie's character throughout this whole series. Then we move on to Jackie and Smoke. First of all, why is her character named Smoke? Couldn't they just find a better name for her? Second of all, why do we have to sit through them getting married? We haven't been introduced to their characters enough for the audience to care about them being married. But I guess this whole elaborate scene was just for the writers to drop hints that Carrie might be interested in the producer. So here we go. So he comes up to her talking about him being interested in signing her for a solo deal for a podcast. Which, side note, what happened to Carrie's book in like episode 5? Because she was writing a book where she had to go on dates to sort of have a happy ending to round up the book. And now that whole plot line has just been pushed to the side and no one is talking about it. Did she finish the book? Did the publisher die? Would never know. Or maybe we'll find out in season 2 if that ever happens. And the writers decide to drop this during the 25th minute of a 45-minute season finale when they had 9 previous episodes to establish a relationship and some dialogue between these two characters. Now we have Rocky at the bar mitzvah, and they just decided to tell their parents in the middle of the event that they don't want to attend. Now this event looks like their parents spent about 50 to 75,000 just arranging it. So to me, they deciding that they don't want to attend is kind of selfish. Now we have Carrie, and it looks like she's finally decided where Big's final resting place is going to be, and that's going to be in Paris. So she tells Charlotte and Miranda tells her that, hey, I'm moving to LA, but I can definitely make the flight to go over to Paris just to support you. And then Carrie gets big mad about Miranda moving to LA. She goes on and on talking about how the 14-hour flight is going to be so long. And I'm like, girl, you're not the one riding the plane for 14 hours. Just shut up. She wants to be there for you. Just take it. Take the support from your friends. Stop complaining. So next we have Miranda leaving her brownstone. I guess she's going to LA to meet up with Che, and she's having a chat with Brady, her son. He's going over to Europe on a backpacking trip. So he asks her, I guess, where's the gray pride? And to me, it's like, you should be asking, where's your dad? Because we left Steve in episode 9 and we've never seen or even mentioned that Miranda was married to Steve ever again. So that's kind of concerning to me. So finally, we're wrapping up this nonsense and we're in Paris. I know this is supposed to be an emotional scene for everyone. She has Big's ashes, but I could not get past her outfit. What is the stupid dress? What is the gloves? What is the hair? What is her face? Is this supposed to be fashion? Because I'm not buying it, sweetie. I feel like they saved this dress for the season finale because they thought it was going to be a gag worthy moment, but it wasn't. It was just a try hard moment. And that's what this entire show was giving me, trying hard and failing. So she ended up scattering Big's ashes over the bridge into the water. And I had one question: is this even legal? Should we be calling the cops and having Carrie arrested for scattering human remains in a foreign country? Yes, but no. I was totally lost in her wearing this stupid dress and scattering this ashes that I couldn't just take the emotions of the whole scene seriously. If you decide to wear an orange dress, then you're not gonna get much emotion from me. Sorry. So Carrie is back in New York from Paris. Hopefully she left the dress in Paris. But this is where we see her hosting her first ever podcast with her new podcast manager, and things seem to go smoothly. So the podcast ends and he decides to walk her to the elevator. And then they kiss. So this is where the series ends, and we don't know if she's gonna put this kiss in her book as a success story or as a happy ending, but I know I'm glad this series is over. Now, I saw over on Instagram that some of the girls were asking for a season two. So I'd like to know, would you guys want a season two of this show, or would you guys even watch a season two of this show? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up, share, comment below, and subscribe to the channel.